Hey there, it's Hardcore Sustainable, and today I just wanted to show you a little trick that I learned from some other people here who were doing this. It's another use for comfrey, which comfrey is a medicinal herb, can be used for a lot of things. It has a nice pretty flower and it attracts a lot of bees as well, but it has this use as also in permaculture as a accumulator. Like basically it has deep root systems, and supposedly it brings up nutrients from below the soil and deeper depths of the soil. I've also heard that that was tested scientifically and it wasn't really found to be true. So I always like to mention the science supporting things, because often people just repeat something they hear and there's nothing really to back it up as far as scientific data or empirical testing. So this other use for comfrey is as a mulch, but also specifically in this situation where you have a fence line and you want to keep grasses from growing up through it, and you also want to deter like the perennial grasses from moving into your garden through or the fenced in area. So a lot of people here have been planting comfrey all along their fence line, and I planted this in the spring and we had a really dry season and it took a while for it to get established. But comfrey is pretty much impossible to kill. You can take little root sections, tiny little root sections, stick them in the ground and they will start a new plant. So you don't really have to be careful about how you plant it. It seems to be able to get established pretty quickly. And even though we had that early dry season, you can see what happened with the little cuttings that I put here. Because we've gotten rain lately, these have grown up and just like put on basically all this green growth in the last month or so. So it worked out pretty well. I wasn't expecting them to go this far in one season, especially since it was so dry, but they're almost already performing their mulching duties. But you know, once you get a season of them growing like this, the lower leaves will die back, they'll hit the ground and they'll cover it like a mulch, and they'll stop other grasses and competitive weeds from being able to grow through that area, at least hypothetically. And so it'll prevent weeds from encroaching and also growing up on your fence, which can also cause like problems with like snow load. Snow can gather on your fence and then it can pull your fence down. So that's something that I struggle with here. So I'm hoping that this will help. And so I'm also looking at applying this and planting around the hoop house so that I can prevent those perennial grasses and other perennial weeds from coming in through the sides. So I'm going to see how that works. But it seems to have gotten really well established, and other people here have used it to advantage. So it's a great idea. So you can see in just this section here, this is probably about a 3-foot wide swath that this comfrey has created of mulch between the fence and these perennial grasses. So there's no weeds that are growing up in here. I don't think they're doing any weeding in here. So no maintenance, and they don't have anything growing up on their fence except for those pole beans that are coming from the inside. So it seems to be working pretty effectively, and they planted this a few years ago and it's pretty well established bed of comfrey. You could also scythe this down and take it for your composting operation or whatever, if you do biodynamic stuff, because I think comfrey is one of those plants that they use. Anyways, great mulch. I don't see anything in here. There are some grasses right there, but they're not really making it very far underneath. It's basically just bare ground underneath this comfrey. So comfrey is so easy to propagate. Basically all you would do is in the spring take a clump like this, dig down into it, take a bunch of root sections. You can cut them up into smaller pieces, just make a small hole, drop that root down in there, it'll make a new shoot and it'll send out a new plant like this, especially if you get it watered in pretty well. Then it'll take hold pretty quickly, and within, you know, a part of a season you can get a comfrey plant as big as this. So thanks for watching. I hope you might think about this new use for comfrey, mulching around a fencing perimeter. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, share, and give a thumbs up to the video, and I'll see you next time.